Hey guys, Vazzy back here, and today it's time for episode 11 of our Tampa Bay Lightning franchise mode here in NHL 24. And today is actually a rather important episode, as we're going to find out if this team can actually make it or break it. We are basically sitting at NHL 500 here at 20-20-1. We've definitely been underachieving so far in the season, so we're going to take the next 20 games here or so up until the trade deadline to kind of see if we're going to be sellers or buyers here at the 2026 NHL trade deadline. So a lot of stuff to get into, so let's get into it. So in case you guys did forget or are first time tuning in the previous episode right at the end there, we did call up one of our top young prospects, being Isaac Howard. We also did call up Kurt Douglas, just as fourth line center. He's absolutely huge. Defensively, I don't believe there's any changes, scratches, nothing like that, any changes. So, but with that being said, I wanted to take a quick look at the contracts here and hand out one in particular. Maxim Groshev, he's had an awesome year. He's had an awesome couple of years. He's asking for just over $3 million here. 71 points in 108 games. He's on pace for about 60 or so. So I wanted to get him locked up for now. I was looking at the 4-year deal here. I was thinking, see if we could get him at around $4 million. He's asking for 4.5. I think we could maybe go up to 4.125 or 150, and kind of see if he accepts that. If not, he's an RFA. It's not a big deal. We can worry about it later, but at least the offer has been made. So let's simulate up to the game against Dallas here. I do just want to switch out the goalies here quick, as it is a back-to-back. We will get Alan Felt in for this first game. And see if he can start turning his season around too. Both goaltenders have not had a great year, so definitely want to see those numbers kind of balance out a little bit more here later on in the season. 1-1 after one for us, 2-1 for Dallas here. See if we can come from behind here and take one against the Stars. A lot of the time we're jumping in, it seems like, and we can't really hold a lead, so let's see if it's the same for other teams here. Still down 2-1 here late, about 5 minutes left. Shots are about even, they're actually just a little bit. Kucherov with 11 seconds left, and we go to overtime. Anthony Cirelli wins it, so that's a huge start to the episode. We definitely need to get all these wins, and as soon as we possibly can, get ourselves into that better position here, as Khrushchev does say no. So we'll worry about him in the offseason, that's not a big deal. Kind of wanted to get that done, but is what it is, as we lose against the Rangers and the Avalanche. Avalanche was in overtime, so at least we do get that point. May as well put him down lower in the lineup if he doesn't want to sign right now. Just gonna end up asking for more money later on anyway, so let's get Vassy back in there. He's been turning it around a little bit, still numbers aren't great overall, so definitely want to see better from him as well. So I kind of want to just take this in 10 game segments here as we get up to the trade deadline. So we'll stop here at around 50 games or so as we sit 24-21-3 as we lose 7-3 to the Oilers. We just can't really break free of that 500-ish mark, unfortunately. It's not amazing. Take a look at the goalies here. We'll switch those guys out quick. Alan Felt can get the next game. Take a look at some of these stats here as we're at 50 games. Captain Steven Stamkos, obviously, he is coming in clutch for us, been really good. I'm a little concerned about that top line with Point and Kucherov being minuses, not great. Zucker, he's a guy that could be moved at the deadline potentially. Howard's not doing good, I think we need to send him down. Hedman's not having the best year either, plus minus wise anyway. And yeah, those numbers are not good from either goalie. It's not great. So yeah, Howard's not ready, unfortunately. 9 games, 1 assist. Send him down. Who else do we even have here? Honestly, at this point, I think we're calling up Puljujärvi. Kind of gone through a lot of our AHL depth here, so it's important to have that throughout the simulation. Who knows, maybe Puljujärvi can start to turn his career around here in Tampa late. I don't know, I doubt it, but we'll give him the shot. He hasn't had one in a little while here, so And let's get Isaac Howard back in the AHL here quick. Keep his development going. Don't want to stunt him. But yeah, I don't know. There's not much else really to do with this team. We're kind of locked in for the most part. We have a lot of those high money contracts for certain guys, so it sucks. But yeah, it's kind of the position we're in right now as we sit 24, 24, and 3. As we are at the All-Star break now, 24, 25, and 3. So now we fall to below 500 once again. Getting lots of trades for Ethan Gauthier. Do not want to move him, being one of our top prospects. Up against Toronto, we get absolutely destroyed, 8-3. I think that kind of settles it right there. I think we're probably going to be looking at selling at the deadline. Just none of the guys have stepped up and proved that we really are a playoff team this year. Just seems like it's kind of one of those off years, unfortunately, which you do get in franchise mode. And I say that as we win 3 straight, of course. But even so, we're sitting still at 500. That's just not good enough, unfortunately. We still sit at bottom of the division too, so it's not like it's a tight race and we have a weak division or anything. Looks like it's pretty competitive, so it's one of those things. I don't know. We'll see how the guys play here. Maybe they can turn it around late, but they just haven't really shown me anything, at least as of late, that they deserve to be buyers at the deadline anyway and really make that push for it. So we'll see as I throw Easymont in here. Haven't played him all year. Get him on the 4th line, may as well. Try something else out. Yeah, all of a sudden we have been winning though, which is kind of annoying. Either way, you kind of want to know. You don't want to be one of those tweener teams. You either want to be all in or all out, so. Throw Stammer back on the top line. He's been playing really good. Up against the Avalanche, sitting at 30, 26, and 3. 4-1 loss. And 2 more games here until we reach the trade deadline. Beat the Predators, get absolutely demolished by the Leafs once again. And the Red Wings also do beat us. So yeah, we are just a seller team this year, unfortunately. Just hasn't worked out. Guys haven't really played up to previous years anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of the top guys have been doing alright. Maybe it's goaltending, maybe it's defense. I don't know. I'm struggling to kind of see the weakness here. Hedman's not having a great year defensively anyways, so. And then goaltending. Goaltending's been just not up to par this year, so. We'll definitely try and make some moves here, see what we can kind of recoup here, and see if we can turn around going into next year. We want to make this a quick rebuild on the fly. So let's set our trade block here as we enter the deadline. All those pending UFAs, definitely take some offers on them. So like guys like Lindell, throw him on there. Jason Zucker, I believe he's a UFA as well. Throw him on there. Who else do we have here? David Savard. If anyone wants him, they can take him. And Kovalenko, he's been not great. Put him on the block. And I think lastly, we just have Corey Perry for the most part that we kind of want to sell off at the moment. So that'll kind of be what our trade block looks like here. Going into the trade deadline, I'll see if I can make any moves like getting some draft picks or some prospects back, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to see. Let's jump into the deadline here. Let's not waste any time. Kind of see the big names that are available anyway. Brandon Montour, Alex Ovechkin, John Carlson, Theodore Lindholm, Carlson, and Crosby too. I'll try and look for some trades, and I will come back to you guys when I find something. So the first trade I am looking at here today involves the Dallas Stars. We would be sending them Lindell back with Savard for Christian Kyrou, who he hasn't played any games this year. He's been kind of healthy scratched, and his 2nd round pick. It makes sense for Dallas. They're pretty weak on the defense outside of Heiskanen. They're another one of those tweener teams around 500. Let's see if they take that. They do not. It would be important to get that young defenseman back with Kyrou. He can definitely be a guy that's a staple of this team for a couple of years. So at a 5th, and they do accept this trade now. The next trade we will be attempting here will be for Jason Zucker for a 3rd round pick to the Kings. They're a pretty good team. He's had a decent year overall. Just trying to get some more draft capital. Nothing too crazy. They're pretty weak on the left side as well, outside of Fiala. They have Kaliev and Van Riemsdyk, but can always use more depth going into the playoffs. You say no, it's a fair trade. You have to put Travis Boyd on waivers. Let's go and look at New Jersey here instead. Then we don't have to worry about the waivers thing. Same third round pick, and they do say yes to this trade. The next move I am looking at here today involves Nikita Kovalenko. He was a Russian prospect that we ended up signing in year 1. The Avalanche, for whatever reason, let him go. I think I probably should have made him better in game overall. That'll be fixed for future updates, but we're trying to get William Strogren from him. The Flames. He was a former second round pick of them. Big 6'3" power forward. I think he'd be a good third liner for us if we get him going. They do say no straight up. It's about right with how Kovalenko's been playing. See if we can add on a depth pick somewhere. We have a ton of thirds, jeez. Try a fourth, that should be even. And Calgary does accept this trade now. And the last trade I'm trying to make today involves Jeremy Lauzon. We have so many of those third round picks. Lauzon's a pretty good defensive defenseman. He brings that physicality to the game. I know we're not in the market for rentals, but I think he's a guy we can re-sign and bring back for future years. He had very little value, so I'm just trying to move up or move down around for him. They do say no, try a fifth. I think there's some value with him there, so. Still rejected. Try a seventh, see if they accept that. I would do it 1 for 1, we have so many thirds, so. They do still say no. Straight up, they do accept this time. So overall, that is all I ended up doing at this year's NHL trade deadline. Definitely quite a bit busier of a year than what we've normally been doing. Normally we've just been adding 1 or 2 pieces, trying to make the team better overall, but it was time to deconstruct a little bit and just try and recap some assets, get some value back and all that. So I think we did that, and I think we accomplished what we were going into with the deadline here. So take a quick look at the lines. I don't believe anything in the top 6 changed. No, Hagel, Point, Kucherov, Groshkev, Cirelli, Stammer, that'll stay the same. Stromgren, Paul, and Duke is the new third line, with Puljujärvi, Douglas, and Perry on the 4th. Defensively, a couple of changes here. Kyrou is going to be playing with Hedman now. Try and get the young guy going, and Thompson and Lauzon are going to be playing together. No change in net, and our scratches are Easimont and Perbix for the moment being. Overall, it's not too bad. Kind of want to just get this season done, so overall, let's get simulating and see where we finish. 3-1 loss to start it off to the Senators, followed by a 5-2 loss to the Sabres. Definitely glad we didn't end up buying back to NHL 500 late in the season. That's definitely not where we want to be, so. Switch the goalies here, see if that makes any difference. 5-4 win, take that. Followed by a 5-4 loss, so. We just can't get, we just can't get out of this hole we keep digging for ourselves here, unfortunately. But hopefully some of these young guys we bring in can start to develop and be solid NHL players for our future. Obviously, time will tell with that. As we beat the Devils by a score of 6-5. The Bruins also by a score of 4-1. Up against the Leafs, who have battered us recently. We do beat them by a score of 3-2. That is 3 straight wins for us. Against the Sabres now, beat them 6-3. That's 4 straight wins. Up against the awful Blackhawks, we do lose 2. Up against the Islanders now, beat them by a score of 2-1. Flyers, they're about 500, beat them as well. So we actually have been going on a decent little streak here. I still don't think we're in the race for the playoffs, and honestly it's probably not a good thing, as it's going to end up hurting our draft position, but it is what it is. That's how this game works, let's be real. When you want to lose, you end up winning, and when you end up winning, you want to lose. But let's just see how we end up concluding the season. Switch the AHL goalies quick. I don't think I've done that all season. It's my bad. So up next against St. Louis, they're similar position to us, a little bit worse for sure, but lose to them 4-3. Against the Capitals, 4-2 win. Up against the Leafs again, another divisional team. Beat them 2-1 this time. And we're actually not too far out of it at the moment. Let's definitely keep this in mind as we beat the Panthers here 6-3. And we are, what's that, 3 points out? 5 points out now? we're still in this race here, surprisingly. We have to win all our games, though. So let's jump into this game against the Sens. It is rather important here. 2-0, Bernard Docker and Kachuk. 2-0 still. Dersimit, Giroux. So I believe, look at the standings here. Yeah, everyone has now clinched, so that will seal our fate here for the third-year simulation, unfortunately. As we beat the Sabres 5-1, followed by a 8-2 loss to the Panthers. So we did make it actually rather interesting at the end. I wish we could have had a bit of a better start. That would have probably mattered a little bit more in the long run, but it's always next year to come back to here. Let's do a quick wrap up here. Look at all the stats. Top line did great. Top 6 really did pretty good. One thing I was thinking about, maybe let's move Sorelli down to the third line center and find a real second line center for next year. I don't know. He's been playing good there, so it's something we can think about for sure. Overall, defensively, Hedman was just horrendous. Kyrou actually did not too bad. He was a 0. Thompson -5. It's not horrible overall. And goaltending, it came back to earth a little bit, but still, it's way too high. Especially Allen Feltz, he was really bad. Looking at the AHL quick, Dawes was even. Offensively, maybe Roman Schmidt could be a guy for us next year. Did okay. And we still have some pieces down here in the A. A lot of draft picks from previous years and stuff that'll start to come up, like an Isaac Howard, like an Ethan Gauthier. Guys like that are still on the way, so we could maybe look to slot them in on the 3rd, 4th lines next year. I don't know. We'll have to see how everyone develops. There's a quick look at our playoff tree here. Unfortunately, we are not in it this year, but I will conclude this video here. We will simulate to the draft. We will do a quick wrap up, and then yeah, just kind of look at what we're gonna try and accomplish next year. Like I said, this is not going to be a long-term rebuild here. We want to do a rebuild on the fly, like a lot of NHL teams do nowadays. Sometimes it's not in their best interest, but I think we still have a lot of those key players still playing so well. The Stamkos, the Hedman, the Point. I guess maybe not Hedman, and maybe not Vazzy at this point either, but still, we have so many of those good simulation guys that I think we can still make a pretty strong run at it in future years, as the Minnesota Wild are the Cup champions here in year number 3. We will take a look at them right away. We do not win a draft lottery position, unfortunately, as we finish 15th, and we keep that spot. Looking at the retired players, Alexander Ovechkin does finally call it. Pavelski, Kessel, Corey Perry on our team, Roman Josi does. A lot of big names. Good to see Ovi does get the goal record in this. I think he hopefully still should in real life. Elliott, Reimer, the goalies. Nothing too crazy there. Velski's a coach. But yeah, some work to do for sure coming up in this next episode here. Let's look at the Wild's road to the Cup here. See who they had to beat. They beat the Penguins in 7, Ducks in 5, Stars in 6, and Jets in 7. So there's a look at their road to the Stanley Cup Finals. Let's take a look at the awards. Obviously, we know a lot of the team ones already. Robertson, Art Ross, Hart goes to Matthews. Celebrini does get the Calder. Vezina goes to Gibson. It's interesting at this point. Matthews, Robertson, nothing too surprising there. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of my Tampa Bay Lightning franchise mode here. We have a big one coming up in the next episode as we try and look to reshape this team and get ourselves back to the playoffs. But until then, I will see you all in the next episode.